on BTC. Hello everyone, welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. My name is Bergen, and today we are doing another simple signal stream. So today we have a quite interesting chart day today. Obviously Bitcoin's done a bit of a crazy movement. It's been a bit crazy the past maybe hour or so, however long this has taken. Obviously we'll get onto it when we go to the charts. It kind of tickled our expectation of what's going on today, but obviously we still have Tuesday, as we've said in previous streams, for this supposed positive movement upwards for Bitcoin. So we will get into that alongside Ethereum and Solana and Bear, which is a coin I believe we have also bought some tokens of very recently, and I think we have done a review just today. I don't know if it's been edited and uploaded. Obviously maybe either today or coming in the next couple of days there will be a video on Bear, so that will be quite interesting to get into as well. So without further ado, I think we should just get into CoinMarketCap. If actually, before we do that, actually scroll down to the descriptions. There's a bunch of links down there. You know, TG, other things of the sorts. Obviously, just go there. Useful links. Anything we really want to show you guys, it'll be down there. And if you enjoy the stream, you know, consider liking, subscribing, following. And if you're on certain platforms, turn the bell on as well. Additionally, as well, I do cover coins from requests in the chat. So if you do have a coin you want me to cover, please do put it in the chat, and I will cover it. I'll add it to my list. I'll say it out loud if I do see it. But obviously some chats are faster than others, and you know, I'm doing charts alongside it. So if I don't see it, just post it a couple of times depending on where you are, and I will try and see it. So let's get into it. So let's just kind of go over some of the prices, some of the coins we've already covered, and kind of see what they've been moving in the past couple of days and whatnot. So it looks like Bitcoin, we're at 68,897. We're literally just at 70,000 and something like 20 minutes ago. So that's gonna be, we've just fallen from our graceful point, so we'd be excited to get into that. But we're now at 68,903 right now. Obviously, within the 1 hour we're going to be coming down because we've just went up a crazy amount. So we're genuinely, obviously, here and there, we're still in our range. So I'm not surprised. Some people are like, oh my god, I can't believe we're going down for Bitcoin. Obviously, I know Mike, we spoke, we were just speaking off stream, and like, I can't believe Bitcoin's still going down. And from what I can tell, I'm fine with this. And also, I can see, some people are talking about, okay, we're at 70k now, we need to hold this. But I'm not worried about not holding it within. I'm talking too much. Let's get on to it. I'll talk about what I was about to say when I go to the Bitcoin chart. So Ethereum, 3,777, 78 now, pretty much down across pretty much 7 day. That makes sense. They were up to like 39, I think, at some point, and we're probably retracting a bit now just to test the support, probably higher lows and continuing upwards. So I'm not worried there. BNB's up 627. BNB's a big dog right now. It's just absolutely going up. I think it was at 599 not too long ago. Solana though, 163. Down pretty much every regard, same as Ethereum. I can't remember what I said in terms of our TA on last stream for Solana, so we will get to that in a minute. But other than, I'm not really gonna. There's not really much else to look at. I think bears, hopefully this one here. It should make sense if it was. I believe it is just Bitcoin. I believe, yeah, because the price is there. I think it's Bitcoin. Here, so here is beer. Let's just see. You know, we're up a decent amount. It'd be nice if I could see the, you know, the percentages on the daily and whatnot, and the 7-day. I can't see that, but we're up regardless on the day. We're 7% up on the daily. Like I said, we'll go into that in just a second as we go into. So anyway, I think I'm just going to move on to the charts now, as I have it. Also, I've moved my camera a bit to the left, or yeah, from where I was, so you probably should be able to see the price right about there. And we don't need the stupid thing in the corner which we've been working. So regardless, we're on the daily right now. Obviously looking a bit messy. I'm going to explain as we go through. So this big green arrow is kind of the assumption of what's going on with Bitcoin in the coming days. Now, if you've been watching any of my TA streams in the the past stream or two, or probably stream actually, and Saturdays, I think I went over Bitcoin again. I was talking about when roughly we're going to see this moving up. So if you see the big green wick, we'll go into the lower time frames and kind of show you what we actually did. We wicked basically to our midpoint, which, you know, I'm not very surprised that this order block's been a pretty strong one over the past, since basically 10th of April when it formed. So from there, we've kind of just been in this range, which is our bearish falling wedge, I believe it's called, or bullish falling wedge, which brings us upwards upon its, breakout, I suppose. Obviously, I was watching this as it was going up. I was like, oh my God, are we actually breaking out now? I can't believe it. And I'm not worried that we've fallen down. I'll tell you exactly why, which is what I was about to get into before I stop myself. This is a daily, this kind of chart pattern, bullish chart pattern. This is on the daily time frame. So I'm not very surprised. I'm not worried that we've moved down back into our range because, like I said, this is a daily time frame based range, which will eventually break out, like I said. And additionally, I did expect it. I said Monday earliest, but I did expect it. I said about Tuesday, Wednesday, moving forward. Obviously, I said, I think I said it could be as late as, down here. But, as long as we're kind of moving, if you see, we've had this movement. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes towards the, maybe the end of this week even. Obviously, I said, I think when I was talking latest about 10th of June, but I did say about Tuesday, Wednesday time, because roughly get about 3 bounces within the range. So, we are still waiting within the range. Like I said, I'm not worried because we still have 8 hours and 53 minutes. We still have 9 hours basically to come back upwards and print above. If we do that, brilliant. Obviously, if we don't, then we don't. But like I just said, I'm not worried if we don't because we still have enough time to move along through this kind of range. But preface again, Wednesday roughly was the time I expected us to kind of break out and move forward and upwards towards up here. So the point I was making as well, obviously we've got our lower highs and whatnot, kind of roughly here. But this was our, apart from here, which is where I kind of want to pay attention to, that if we printed anything above here, which would come right back down. Coming up to the next point, which was this one, what I think is gonna happen even is that we're gonna print above this slightly, maybe 70,800, and then bounce off that and kind of come back down to 70,250 roughly as support, because I mean that's what we need to do. And I'm thinking, this is quite a big, wick. If you see, depending on what sort of strategy you use, there are occasions when you pay attention to these large wicks of previous high points because you want to look at individual high points, like this high point over here. This is going to be important. This next high point down here, obviously this will be important as well. But I'm more paying attention to this point because you can see, you come upwards, you come down, you come upwards, you come down. This is going to be another important point, which is the midpoint anyway. So I don't really mind about that. I think we're going to exceed that and come towards here. So my expectation is we come towards 70,750 roughly. Just roughly print above here to get, probably have a bit of sales coming in, and then hopefully, and this is what needs to happen. Not, I hope for it, but importantly, 70,250 is what we need. Roughly 250. Obviously, bitcoins are very inaccurate. Well, not inaccurate. It's the $10 can move pretty crazy if you move. But about 70,220 250, roughly within this area, we need to print above that, because as I've explained on previous streams, if you exceed an order block, too far and you don't come to test it as support, you could just come right back down, which we've seen previously in other areas of the chart, which I'm not going to get into. So we do need to, and obviously seeing this on the chart is what's giving me hope for this, is that if we do this and actually come towards 70,800 and print below, it's giving me more hope that we're going to bounce off this area and come down to test the support, rather than us go straight up back towards $72,000 for Bitcoin and ignore the order block and come right back down. So that's what I'm hoping for anyway. Obviously, we can only hope, and we can only wait, really. We can only really wait, because obviously, unfortunately, I don't have like a chart. I mean, there probably is a chart pattern somewhere on like the 1 hour, but there's nothing really to show you in that regard. But what's promising, I suppose, on the 1 hour, we're bouncing off our trend line. Obviously, this is the trend line we have based on the 1 hour. We're currently bouncing off it, so it could be promising within the next coming hours that we actually come upwards. Again, like I said, we still have 9 hours on the daily to actually come upwards, so we could still be in the runnings for us to actually exceed and actually break out of our trend and come upwards. So like I said, earliest Monday, continuing onwards. But if we look at market stuff on the 1 hour, obviously the 1 hour doesn't kind of control the entirety of the chart, but you can see what's going on. We have an complete over the 60 market cipher momentum, coming downwards now. VWAP coming down and negative quite roughly, or quite sharply even, and money flows coming down from a decently high, very high point actually. So I don't think we're going to hold above the range. I think we're going to come down still, probably towards 67,500, wherever it is down here. So I don't think we're going to hold above here too crazy. I think we're going to come down and kind of move along. I don't know what's happened. Everything just refreshed. There we go. So yeah, I think we're going to exceed this area and come back down towards a lower point down here. So quickly go to the 4 hour maybe, just to see what's going on. Like I said, there's not really many chart patterns. I believe this is a bearish hidden divergence. If you see here, we've got lower highs, and on the RSI, oh no, I think it's on the daily actually. When I looked at this, yeah, here. I looked at it on like before I started the stream. I can't remember what time frame it was on. Maybe it's on the 1 hour. There was a divergence of some sort somewhere. I can't seem to find it now though, unfortunately. I think it was roughly here maybe. You can see, yeah, from this point, which is about here, all the way to here. Here it is. You can see we're diverging. I believe it's a hidden bearish divergence, which is a continuation of the momentum we're currently going in. As you can see, we've got lower highs. Obviously we're technically in a range. I think lower highs is obviously going to be where our bearishness kind of forms from, but we also have higher lows as we come along here. So depending what trend we are, but it is hidden bearish, so it's a continuation of what should be a negative trend. As we have lower highs, we should be in a bearish trend right now, which we are. So it's technically a continuation, especially on the 4 hour. So not on the daily, which is why I'm not very concerned about it on the daily anyway, or on the 4 hour anyway. So this is why I'm pretty confident that we're not going to be holding above the range and actually printing above it, and probably coming back down to the lower part of our range later today probably, and onwards. So I'm still up for this chart pattern. I still think it might happen over Tuesday, Wednesday time. Again, like I said, latest it could happen nearer the end of the week. But Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday when I expected it to roughly happen, but it may not exactly happen in that time frame because I can't tell the future. But anyway, I think we should move on now to Ethereum. There we go. So what's going on? Let's have a little look. So this is the daily currently. Let's bring this across. So what is happening? So we're still in our positive range. We'll go to the 4 hour so we can really know what's going on. Whoops, I hate when that happens. Let me bring this down, please. Do you know what? There it is. Is it this? Oh, there it is. There's just buttons here. Like I don't know why I need to do that. I get if I want to look closer, but there's just occasionally I just press buttons back, and it just happens. But anyway, why did I draw a circle there? This was, I can't remember about the stream last. It must have been about here. So the circle, obviously of some regard, maybe some, I don't know. But anyway, we bounced off our top of our range, came to the right, but back to the bottom of it. We're really respecting these trend lines, which is nice to see. Really respecting them here, especially printing above them, really bouncing off the high end and the low end of it. So very nice to see. But it seems like we're now kind of in a a lower area now, coming upwards, either a really steep movement back upwards, or it does seem like we have like a mini kind of trend within the trend, I suppose, moving upwards. But higher lows, very promising. Higher lows bullish. We don't have lower highs, which is good. So we're not, we're still in our bullish movement for Ethereum, which is good. Obviously, we are a bit down, but that makes sense coming from a really high point up here downwards. So I think we're just continuing this trend roughly. Obviously, like I said, we still have this mini trend. So maybe something like, kind of within here, probably like a slanted Bart Simpson, I suppose you could say. I don't expect to really hold this. I think we should come upwards more. But I expect, again, as I've said in previous streams, what I expect with Bitcoin and the market moving up in general, I do expect Ethereum to be, moving as the market should. It's, it's not like it's a random low cap coin. I do expect it to be moving upwards. So I reckon what's going to happen is we're going to be within this little small range, which seems to not randomly, there's probably a reason for it, obviously. Nothing's really too random in trading. But we've seemed to have brought upon this smaller range within our larger range for Ethereum. But what I expect to happen is, this kind of mini slanted Bart Simpson, he's probably been punched on the head on both sides, he's kind of bulging outwards. But, I expect it to kind of move in this range. Bitcoin's going to kind of pump what I expect to happen in Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we're probably going to move upwards towards 4,000 for Ethereum. So, not really too surprised here. We're going to stay in the range. There's not really much to update it with. Unless we look at like previous highs. Well, you see, we're kind of bouncing off this. This is good. We're still respecting this old order block. Is this a daily order block? I can't remember. Where are we? Here we are. It must be a 1 hour order block. Yeah, there we go. 1 hour order block. So yeah, we're still respecting this. Over this longer period of time, bouncing off the midpoint, which is good. But as we're continuing this trend, we're eventually going to break out of it and continue up. I think we're going to surge above it. So it seems like 3,850 towards 3,880 are good for support points, I suppose, within this range. But again, not too worried. We're over the higher time frames. We're still in this positive trend. So, I mean, to be fair, I think this is probably why we had this. I mean, like I just said, no movement is random, or no, random. I can say random, even though it's not random. But no kind of support resistance points are random. Obviously, it seems like this longer period point is why we have this. So obviously, that wasn't a setup. I didn't mean to just go, oh, it's a random resistance point and then find the resistance point. It's just something I didn't bring along. But obviously, this was when we had surges probably in the market, breaking us up. So I think, as long as we keep on, you can roughly suggest it as I believe it's in not expanding triangle, but there's a chart pattern where it has basically this resistance point at a certain price and then a bullish or higher low trend line. It meets up here and it surges upwards. We've seen it on Aptos and the other coins I've looked at in the past couple of streams. We've actually seen multiple coins have this sort of pattern where we've had a resistance point and a bullish trend line, higher lows trend line. So I expect it to kind of surge upwards. Like I said, another kind of confluence alongside what I just said, as I expect the market to coming in the next coming days. This is the 4 hour, so you can see maybe later on Wednesday we have, if I bring this along, we have this range, to still fill in as we probably move upwards. I expect us to kind of surge above this and use its support and continue onwards, alongside Bitcoin moving upwards, etc. So that's kind of it for Ethereum. Not really too much to add for. I think we move on to Solana now. Where it doesn't really seem like it's moved too much. So let's see. So what have we done? So we've broken out. We've surged below this trend line now. Not having this expanding triangle. We had some spout of negativity. We did have this trend line though, which we've already bounced off. But you can see we've also bounced off our trend line here, which is not really ever a good thing. Obviously, if you have a trend line, you bounce off like that, you normally come down a bit lower. So maybe coming towards $160. But again, like I've said previously, the market's going to be moving up in the next couple of days. So I don't really expect it to move that low. Seeing as this trend line's or this support point is a very good one. You can see, really tightly printed out at it here, especially over there. Obviously here's a bit rough as well, but these 2 points here, 26th of May and right now, or not right now, but within kind of the morning of Monday or today, we have really properly printed out above this line. So I don't really expect us to move too much lower above it. I don't really expect us to move any sort of lower than this price here, but we did fall below. I expected us to kind of move up a bit more, but it seemed like we did have our trend line like this within our trend line. So, you know, again, not very good in that regard. I mean, I probably should have seen that, but this was Thursday. I don't know when I drew my last chart. I think it was Tuesday, actually, to be fair. So I wasn't actually looking at this in this time frame, or in this regard. I wasn't looking here. We didn't have any of these candles, so I couldn't see this trend line downwards. So it seemed like we did form this, you know, trend line, which we're also respecting now as we come along, you know, downwards. So that's probably why we're bouncing. I don't know. This is probably also another chart pattern. I believe this is a bit of a negative one, but we're on the 4 hours. If we go to the daily, we've had a lot of negativity, but we do have our momentum coming below the 0 mark. So we're not, you know, we're starting to become a bit more oversold. Money flow's a bit neutral now, but possible moving upwards very soon. Again, my bias is positivity within the next coming days, so I'm kind of trying to apply that to these charts. View up starting to come upwards again, so could see some potential positive movement for the momentum soon, which would happen anyway if the market pumps. But what I could expect to happen, especially if Bitcoin and Ethereum are going up, how I expect it to happen, you know, alongside, you know, this big pump I expect in the daily for Bitcoin, we might see ourselves come towards about 174, probably coming down a bit to test as somewhere support, and then moving upwards, having higher lows, and, you know, higher highs and whatnot, kind of having this trend, or higher lows in the bullish trend anyway. And then coming upwards towards resistance points. I did expect 180. I think I said that last stream on the stream before. 180 area, I think I expected as our, you know, final area, if it was to have a final area for the bullish movement in the market. But, you know, we could precede that and probably bounce off, you know, a previous point, maybe 178 anyway. So, you know, in the current situation, not looking too positive for Solana, but again, we do have to remember what the market potentially might do in the coming days. So we do have to bear that in mind. But again, you know, if we do apply this, these trend lines, we are in this bear trend, bouncing below, but we do have the support point, so we're starting to get a bit tight within here. So I don't know if this is a bullish one. I was told off to not look at the chart pattern photos, but I do need to, you know, identify it properly. I don't want to identify something which isn't there. Yeah, descending triangle, there you go. Actually, to be fair, it kind of is. I mean, coming from here, but, you know, it technically is coming from a higher point anyway, so it's not really, you can see the descending triangle, it's coming from a high point downwards, forming this triangle, then coming down. But in this chart instance, you know, it's coming down, then coming upwards. So it's not very applicable, I'd say. Especially if you go on the other time frames, it's not really bouncing off this lower frame. So it's not, we don't really have a bearish chart pattern, which is what you know, it was a good thing. I think we just genuinely have a support point and a negative lower high trend line, which can cause really positive movements, especially if you look at what's going on with Mark Cypher. You know, coming from a really negative point from the momentum, coming upwards now, and money flow coming inwards, and, you know, VUP coming upwards as well. So we do have some bull sentiment on Mark Cypher B, probably bringing us up, hopefully breaking back above this, you know, trend line. So if you see what point do we need to break for it to form a you know, back into a bullish trend, well, we'd have to exceed this negative higher low, or lower high trend line here for it to form back into a bullish trend. So we'd have to print about, I would say here, we'd have to print ourselves above $168 to be back into a bull trend, and then have, you know, movement upwards. So, you know, we need to print above here. I would say so anyway. We don't really have, you know, anything. If I draw this a bit sharper, I think that's the other previous high. You can see, like, as we're coming down, let me draw this properly actually. You know, we're kind of coming down like this. We need to start to do this, so we can be back into our trend and reverse. You can see that this movement is a lot more accurate into a trend as we're moving down now. So we need to, you know, the previous high was here, so we need to start printing above here, and do that and start to kind of come back upwards into a bullish trend, you know, moving forwards. But, you know, that could happen alongside in the 4 hour anyway, from what I'm seeing. So let's move on now though, to I think beer will probably go on to now. If we go to, there we go. So beer, we have to do it on the 1 hour because there's not too much data in that regard. I did have a quick look at it. Obviously, it was quite rushed, but we are now moving on to beer coin, which I believe Mike is doing or has done a video, and I believe he's editing it. I don't know if it's uploaded now or whenever. I don't think it's. I mean, it might just be uploaded. Just check the channel out, and you'll find it very, very soon. So I had this line coming from this high point, kind of bouncing. But again, we are in a, if I delete that, we basically already bounced off this line, especially if I go to the 30-minute or the lower time frames. You see, we're kind of already printed, but we are in a bull trend anyway. So I wouldn't expect it to come as low. There we go. Actually, I'll go on 30 minutes, a bit more to look at. So you can see, positivity, we, printed lower, but that didn't matter because we came to a really low point and kind of continued our bull trend. Upwards, lower highs or higher lows, going upwards. So it seems like we have our trend line here now. So I think we just continue moving upwards like that, especially since the VOP's coming upwards. Money flow arc down a tiny bit, but can start to move upwards. Momentum is now kind of at 0 mark, so probably coming upwards now. So I wouldn't expect us to kind of continue, but we've been bouncing, here multiple times now. So probably. If we kind of came upwards, probably if we printed above here, probably a lot more sales to come. But this is our expanding triangle, I believe, or ascending triangle, I think it is actually. So if we continue this trend, there we go. So I would expect it to kind of do that, either bouncing off this line or printing just above and then coming down. But printing above this sort of line would reverse us pretty badly. So I would hopefully just think it'd be bouncing off this 200 line, but if we printed above here 210, it would reverse us and probably break out of this trend. So as long as we're kind of staying in this range, I think we should have a positive range as we're going for Bitcoin. In terms of where we would see some sort of negativity, well, we've kind of got this, if I draw a square or rectangle for this anyway, we've kind of got this range. There we go. Bring that across, there we go. So we've kind of got a range here. So if we print somewhere a bit below it, we'll probably have a very big surge back of positivity. So we've got our, positive area of a high and negative area of a low, where if we printed at it, we probably have big movements upwards or downwards. Obviously, this is being tested more and more as we go, so it'll get weaker and weaker, and then we'll probably surge upwards. Obviously, not for advice or anything. I don't really think there's any sort of pole system for ascending triangle. I think it just generally goes up, but that sort of movement could happen. But again, I think this is actually above $150 million market cap. So if Mark's ever talked about meme coins on his videos, that is a significant point which we need to break in terms of market cap for it to actually be a proper coin which will can exceed those can exceed higher prices and actually not just kind of fail, I suppose. So pretty positive in that terms of things. So we have a lot more room to move upwards, so I wouldn't be surprised if we really came upwards. If I redraw that kind of pole on the 30-minute, from here, let's say over the high point, we could come towards about 23, wherever this may be in this kind of range. So, could see some positivity like that. Again, I wouldn't be surprised due to the fact of how good our move that across. How good our market cap is for this coin. So very positive. I believe they're doing a pretty cool giveaway as well, which is nice. Obviously, if you want more information on that, there is a video either coming or has come on the channel. Obviously, depending on where you are, just search Crypto Warehouse on Google, and you will find us wherever you may be. Hello, Mike. It's 2 a.m. Tuesday morning. 2 a.m. Do you know what? We can't seem to find a good time because we used to do this at like 8 p.m., 9 p.m. and now we're doing it obviously 5 p.m. our time. Just can't seem to find a good time for it. See the sunset time. I think this will stand test time. I mean, I think the market cap's pretty good in terms of for it to actually exceed, like I've already talked about, exceed higher prices and move upwards. In this area, possibly, depending on what happens there. But again, seeing as what's happened in the market, again, it is a bit of a matured market cap where it actually will probably follow some sort of market movement if we had some, which is what I'm expecting for Bitcoin and Ethereum and whatnot in the coming days. So in the coming days, could expect that. And lo and behold, if we look at the end of this expand triangle, it's actually 4 p.m. on Tuesday, going on to Wednesday. So Tuesday, Wednesday time, like I've already said for Ethereum and Bitcoin, when I expect it to have positive movement upwards. 4 p.m. Tuesday is when we should see the end of this expanding triangle, or ascending triangle, sorry, for Bitcoin, and have movement upwards. So could expect it within Tuesday have a positive movement towards 23.75. Obviously not financial advice or anything of the sort. You know, coming towards maybe 23.50, maybe low point, I'll say 23. In terms of a low point, well, you could put it all the way down here, but I wouldn't do that, to be fair. Especially if it's going higher and higher, I'd probably put it to maybe roughly where we are right now, maybe even this price. Especially you see, you know, we've already bounced off here, kind of had a Bart Simpson. You can see this line here is significant, kind of had a Bart Simpson coming down. So just below that price point could be good in terms of our support area. So probably have that sort of 2.8 risk to reward coming towards there. Obviously, if you want to put it higher, I don't know when we're going to break out of this. It could be shorter. You know, if we broke out, let me move this a bit. If we broke out and it came towards here, obviously we wouldn't come as high as there. But, you know, we'd have to break out about, you know, 1 p.m. or 1 a.m., sorry, Tuesday, which I don't think would happen that soon. I think it'd be more towards the latter. So it could be within the middle of the area, about 23.50. So we could have a high risk reward ratio there and continue moving. Obviously, that depends when you long. If you long about there, it could be even higher in terms of risk reward ratio. So very cool. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it though for the chart. Obviously, I could probably open the market. I don't really look at EMAs that much, but yeah, we are kind of a bit below it, but kind of a bit above it. So, what does that say? That's it. It's on Solana. Yeah, well, I think I expect Solana to come up as well anyway. So, I mean, to be fair, I just expect the market to come up. There's not really much to say. I'm pretty biased right now in terms of the market. On Tuesday, Wednesday time to come upwards. So, yeah, like I said, I think we'll see. Oh, we can see right now we're starting to become a bit more positive, especially in the VWAP for a bit. So probably, you know, as we're coming into it, probably having our now bounce upwards towards about 20. So, you know, if you wanted to long or if you're getting ready to buy, I'll probably put a buy order in about, you know, about 1986, you know, in this area, or maybe 1970, roughly within, maybe not exactly 2000, whatever, or 2. Because, you know, we might not exactly bounce off it. You know, you see previous areas, you might not exactly bounce off it. I mean, we should bounce off it, but, you know, just better be safe than sorry. Yeah, so Bitcoin, positive very soon, I expect. I think we now move. I might look at, I want to see how this went. I think it was either Mark or was it Trump coin? I think it was Trump USDT, actually. I want to see how this went. Okay, so let me go on the hard time frame, actually. I think it was on the 4 hour I looked at this. So what did we do? Well, we're starting to have our come down now. Obviously, like I always say, to be fair, you know, lines and using the pen on charts, it's never a time frame based thing. It's always kind of a movement based thing. So the red was, I think, either we bounced once or bounced twice. Obviously, the red didn't happen. We bounced twice, as you can see. So if we kind of delete this mess. We already know what's happening. We're going to come down towards these lower points and then come upwards. So we had the blue movement where we printed above this significant line and then we came down, which is good. We actually also broke out of this, which is what I expected. I don't expect, you know, we're not going to stop moving down here. I think we're going to very, very, you know, roughly continue downwards. Obviously having maybe some bounces, you know, occasionally, maybe, you know, oops, I just hit my mic. There we go. So obviously there's probably some sort of bounce we'll have at maybe 13, but I think we still exceed that. And come down, but I do expect we also might bounce of 12.30, but my lowest point, which, you know, I don't know if we'll come as low to that. I think we're going to come down there. So if I put a short kind of position, obviously safer than sorry, you could put it about there. That'll be 15% move down. But, you know, if you put it in when I expected us to move, which we did, you would have put it in about here, and you could have put it about here. Obviously, it depends on how safe you're being. Obviously, just above $18 would have been a safe stop loss. You know, it depends on how much you want to do. Obviously, if you did a 10x, you'd still be in. You wouldn't be 100%. You'd also probably get 268% profit, which is more than enough. Obviously, it depends what you want to do. But, you know, my lowest point, like I said on the stream, was about $10. I was very confident this is going to fall. We are still falling. Probably maybe within the 4 hour coming up a bit more to bounce off it and then coming down. I just be careful with this. $12.30 I think is where our next point is going to be. We could come as low as $10, but, you know, it would have had to have really rapidly started to come down which I don't think we've done so far. So I think Tuesday, Wednesday time, like I said, if we follow this kind of trajectory as we've been having, and if we shimmy that down a bit from where we are, it takes us about Tuesday, Wednesday. Obviously late Tuesday, like I said on beer token as well, 4 p.m. Tuesday is when I expect us to come up. This takes us to roughly 12:30. As you see, the trajectory of this kind of trend line, or the magnitude of the line, I think it's magnitude. It's been ages since I've done all of the tangent, not tangent, the gradient. That's the one, the gradient. How steep it is, basically. The gradient does from this position and from coming from the low position, or the high position coming down to the low position. If you shimmy it across, like I said, it roughly brings us towards. If we wanted to aim about, Tuesday 6 p.m. it would bring us towards $12.30. So yeah, I think that's probably a bit of a safer one. $12.32 roughly within this area is where I expect us to come to, which is 3.6 risk reward if you short it from there. Obviously, you'd have to short from here right now, which is way too far. I'd probably put that about there. I'd probably say I'd put it right here. Obviously, this is 10%. Obviously, this is from where we are right now. It's hard to say exactly where we could probably put it to, but we bounced off 1550 already. So maybe putting it just a bit higher, you can probably get a 2 risk reward out of this, having a 15% move down from where we are right now. So you could have another potential 15 if you didn't already short, which is what I suggested. Obviously, not financial advice, what I suggested. Even coming from, when did I do my TA? I think I did it Thursday, actually. It might have been about Thursday. I don't think it was Saturday. I think we looked at it on Saturday, but we were basically here when I said we should short about here. And we came up to it, obviously shorted. We still have a potential 15 move down. So, if you want to take it, you could take it. But obviously, none of this is financial advice. That's kind of all the coins I have. Obviously, we've 45 minutes in, 10-minute intro, 35 minutes. We've done this pretty swiftly. I wanted to be a bit faster anyway. But it also means I can look at more coins. So we've done beer and Marga apart from the main coins. So I might want to move on to coins we've already covered. I'm trying to think of coins we've already done TA on apart from Marga. I think I did Pepe. Actually, I want to see how far we came down on this. I don't know if we've come as far. We bounced off this trend line. Okay, so let's shimmy this across actually from where we are. So we bounced upwards. When I did TA Saturday, so we bounced upwards. We started to come down, and then we bounced off a nondescript area over here, which probably had some sort of significance. Obviously, you could probably attribute it to. Obviously, I don't really look at fair value gaps too much. I'm not gonna lie, but you could attribute it to some sort of fair value gap. And then obviously we bounced off it and then came upwards, and now we're above the trend line. Obviously now in a negative position. Obviously, if we continue this trend line, which we probably will bounce off of at some point. I don't think it was on the daily. I think it was on the 4 hour. But you can see, if we go to the 1 hour, we're starting to arc. We bounce. We're really bouncing properly. Come upwards now, and now starting to arc back downwards. We do have some pretty big negativity on the 1 hour, coming from a really high point of the momentum. Money flow is really coming down. VOP's really coming down. So negativity on Pepe. I don't know if it will surge below this trend line. I don't know if we'd actually also have coming from this point a nearly 20% move down before we go upwards again. But like I have already said in pretty much every other coin we've covered, today we still have Tuesday about 18. So if I bring this across, it's about the 18th, not the 18th, sorry, 18 p.m. Then actually, let me on. There we go. I need to make sure it's online where we need to go. There we go. So this is where we are right now. Obviously, we still have the 18th. So basically, this area is what we have until we probably pump. So could we probably see a movement down 90%? I don't really reckon so. Especially seeing as though we've started to kind of have this positive trend now for the price kind of bouncing. So we could, obviously, if you kind of, forecast where this price could go, you could see it probably meets about this midpoint. So it's going to be meeting from a previous, bear trend, not bear trend, a negative trend line, bouncing off that, which is what happens quite regularly, and bouncing off a bullish trend line. We probably won't go below this. So unfortunately, we didn't come as low as expected. But again, with these trend lines, you never really kind of predict how far you'd come down for these price points. For these expanding triangles, which we also had on Marga as well, which is what I've already talked about on when we had $10.30. Didn't expect it to come that low anyway. But I did expect it to kind of bounce off the previous trend line and come down. But unfortunately, we formed this bear trend or bull pattern kind of area here before we came upwards. So very unfortunate. So it depends on how, if we come below. So I don't think we'll come below. I think we'll bounce off it and continue to come upwards for Pepe. So I guess we'll see what's going on for Pepe. Actually, we do have this nice little trend line here, which is nice. Actually, I want to test something with this. I want to see over here how far it would take to come to these price points. I'm trying to line something as much as I can. Obviously, it's difficult. I'm going to ignore this dip though, because I think this was a test. I want to kind of line up as much as I can. It was kind of an outlier. You can see we've got this trend line. Oops. If I zoom that out, there we go. You see, even if we did come down to bounce off this trend line, which is quite a long-term trend line anyway, especially on the daily, if we even printed here on the daily, which I don't expect we would. Whoops. If we did, I don't think we would. It would probably come towards. I mean, we've kind of come far away from this trend line, and we've arced. So I'm still, I'm still hopeful. We still have Tuesday, Wednesday potential. Obviously, if we can move up, 17% in the candle, I wouldn't be surprised if we can move down, either 19% in the candle. So it depends on what's happening in the next coming days. I'd have to wait for it. But again, we do have this kind of, especially on the lower time frame, this trend line upwards for Pepe. So I'll start to delete some of these things. I'm still going to keep that trend line negative. If I delete this though, and then keep this, so clean up the chart a bit. I'm still going to keep this because we're probably going to bounce off it. It depends. If we fall below, we could have, a complete fall from grace. Again, this order block, our really long-term daily trend line does meet at this order block, which is nice. So there is potential. There is potential if we did fall that we come towards that price point there. Let me check this though. Okay. Yeah. So it does depend. We are on this bullish trend line, especially on the 4 hour. So I'd have to pay attention to it. But if I expect the market to come up within the next 2 days, I don't really expect us to move down from here anyway. A potential 24% for Pepe. It is doable. Pepe can move pretty rapidly, but I don't really expect it to happen, especially since we don't have an exact chart pattern to really follow through. And we also, on the daily, have another bullish trend line from here anyway, coming upwards. I mean, this was the expanded triangle. I don't know why I'm redrawing that. I will keep it there, to be fair. It is very nice, accurate. I think these are general just surges down anyway. So, we're pretty bullish, especially if I go to the daily though. Money flow's coming in, fields coming upwards. Markets, momentum isn't too high. It's not a really significant point where we might fall. We're not above 60, so it is potential we could go up, but hey, it's not really looking, like we're going to come down anytime soon. So unfortunately, we didn't follow that pattern through all the way. I don't really see anything on the RSI. I'm having a look there. I mean, you could argue a really long-term pattern here. I mean, not really. From that high point, I think that's a hidden thing. If I go to divergence quickly, we can have a look. I always forget the name of it though. It's here it is. Quite weak apparently. It was on the tops of it though. If I draw it from the tops, it is a weak bullish divergence. So probably some sort of continuation anyway. So kind of suggesting to us over this long term. That we should, I mean, this is the daily anyway, to be fair, and it is bearish. So maybe a suggestion that we might bounce off our trend line, maybe not very soon, but in the coming days, maybe. But again, if the market surges, I mean, we might completely ignore that and probably continue to bounce off our trend line. But there's potential we come to maybe 1240. If we kind of come upwards, maybe bouncing, coming down, boom, coming upwards. That's really convoluted, but probably not going to happen in this regard. But even if we did fall, I don't expect it to come below this trend line. This trend line looks very good anyway. But we have, come quite far from this trend line anyway, for us to not kind of test it. But again, I guess we'll see. Especially, I think the deciding factor is going to be Tuesday, Wednesday time anyway. So we will see what happens on Tuesday, Wednesday time. I'm pretty excited though. I'm pretty excited. Especially with Bitcoin. I'm really hoping it happens how I hope it's going to happen. We print above these order blocks and these difficult areas. and we don't just ignore it, because if we ignore it and surge all the way upwards, we're going to come right back down, and just everyone's going to be very upset, especially me. But that was Pepe. I think, is it? I think I did it on this chart. I don't think it was. Was it USDT I looked at? Did I even look at this coin? I think I did. I could have sworn I looked at this coin. Which coins have I looked at? I'm trying to think about the last stream, and which ones we covered already. I think we looked at Atom. I could have sworn we looked at Atom US. Did we? Well, we have TA on it, I suppose. Here we go. Let's have a look. Let's go on the 4 hour. So what's going on? So we didn't form the right shoulder, so we didn't come down, unfortunately. But we are still holding from this order block, very nice order block, and we are. Got to daily anyway. We are bouncing. Was it daily or? I think I had daily up, right? Go back to it. We're recently anyway bouncing off this, but we do have our negative trend line anyway coming down. I'll delete this actually. I mean, it's kind of a nice trend line. So we've got higher lows, but lower highs. So we're kind of diverging into here, coming into probably extend this actually. There we go. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is a trend line of some regard. I mean, you could either argue we've got some sort of Bart Simpson, and we might come back upwards towards 1137, or this is also, I believe, it's not a bear flag, because a bear flag would be coming down, having that, and then coming down again. I don't think this is a bullish. I need to remember that. There's like so many chart patterns I need to get into my head. Really remembered. But if we look, we're on the daily anyway. Money flow's coming in, VOP's coming upward properly, and momentum's coming up. But you can see red dot, green dots. We are really crabbing. This is kind of my identification of a crab. And if we've come from a high point and we're having this crab kind of thing going on, Bart Simpson could be happening very soon. Especially if within the next 2 to 3 days we have positivity and we surge upwards. I really wouldn't be. Actually, I don't have 34%. Pretty crazy. I don't really know if that's going to happen on this coin. It could happen on Atom. I think I got. Yeah, I mean, we've really been bouncing off this order block. I mean, I don't think we'll come as high. I mean, especially if these two candles aren't exactly the best, and it's not really too much of a bull of a bottom. So I don't think we'll come as high as $10.80, $11. I think we might come some point higher. Probably if we did come up, coming up, maybe bouncing off this and then having difficulty, kind of having a. Let me redraw that actually. Kind of probably printing above here, coming down, maybe having a higher low thing, coming upwards, but having some positivity, having some general positivity for Atom anyway. But again, if the market's moving up, this might move up. So I guess we will see. But regardless of if the market's going up or not, we're getting close to our kind of divergence area. Now, if we look at our side, maybe we see some sort of trend. If we've got some sort of if we've got some bullish divergence, it suggests we should probably come upwards. Let me just make sure though that this isn't some sort of bearish chart pattern. I don't think it is. I could be very wrong though. Yeah, I mean, it is bear pennant. Obviously, you've got bearish flag as well. It is technically a bear pennant, but again, chart patterns are never 100% of the time. So I suppose it is a battle between if Bitcoin's really going to go up, because this isn't some random coin. I do believe if the market's going to be going up, I think this would be following the market trend. And if Bitcoin's going to be surging and Ethereum is in the next 2 days, potentially 2 days, then I don't reckon it would follow this trend as closely as other things anyway. If we kind of zoom out over the longer term, the daily, do we have anything kind of having some sort? I mean, we do have this kind of trend line, quite a long time. I mean, again, it's quite easy to just draw that random trend line. It's not really too accurate. We've had 2 bounces off there and it came right upwards. So, coming to $6.10, it seems like if we came to here, obviously, talking about $6.10 from $8.44, obviously that is a pretty huge movement downwards, but this is a very significant low point. If we're bouncing off this low point and coming all the way upwards, this is a really strong price point anyway. If we look again as well, having difficulty up here, bouncing off here, and then coming upwards again, I would suggest that this would be a long-term price. But again, you know, we have come lower than it. I mean, for every time we've come lower than it, we've reversed. So, I mean, also conveniently, this is also the low point of our order block. So, there are lines suggesting we have some support. I wouldn't reckon. I mean, if it is a bear pennant, it would suggest it would come even lower than that. But I don't think we'd come that low. I don't think. I mean, I'm looking really negative. It's looking really negative in that regard here. Do we have a trend line here? Yeah, bounce, coming along towards $6. I mean, random trend line doesn't really matter. But again, I think if we did have a bear pennant and did follow through before we had the Tuesday, Wednesday, potential pump, which I think we would, I don't think we'd go to $5.44. I think $6.16, $6.15, and printing a bit below it and coming up with ups, because you can see it like, kind of having this bear trend. We bounced off here, had the positivity, but bouncing off this exact point, wicking here, and then having this huge, reversal. I think, printing below $6.26 and coming, upwards or coming down to it, I think it would mean we'd come right back up. So unless we had, about 13.5% move downs on, both 2 days, I don't think it's going to happen for Cosmos or Atom. I don't think it's going to happen in any sort of, quick realm, especially if the market's to be pumping how I expect it. So I think this is going to be invalidated. I don't think this is going to be a chart pattern which really follows through. If it does, then fair enough, but I guess we'll have to watch out for it. Especially seeing as though you've got a conflict, and I wouldn't want to trade a coin which has conflicting confluence. If on the chart, if in general in the market I think we go up, but on the chart it's got bearish, chart patterns which come down, it's hard to trade that. Obviously, if I go on the shorter time frames, if I look at something else, there's probably something which might suggest to me something otherwise. Especially seeing as though we've got, again, I just drew that, I didn't like it. So, if I kind of zoom out. There we go. I mean, we've got that going there. I mean, we do have a really long-term, weekly thing. Oops, I didn't mean that. If I really bring this across there. So we do seem like, obviously this is on the week, this is a really long-term thing. We've got, this is a careful thing. So we've got a bear pennant, kind of bouncing in between here. Obviously we have a bit of a little thing going on there, but you see over the general, we do, let me draw this properly, there we go. We do have a general kind of, as it's shortening, kind of difficulty. Obviously this isn't a suggestion of where we should really come to, but, on the week, coming towards, I mean, this is a really long-term thing, to be fair. This is really, really long-term. I'm not even going to bother looking at this, to be fair. But we do have weekly trend lines, which we have been respecting, so we should be paying attention to that within our area. But anyway, yeah, I think it's hard to say. I think I wouldn't really bother trading this. I'd rather trade other coins which have a more of a clear movement. Obviously, if I was the best trader in the world, I'd be able to tell every single thing about every single coin. But obviously, none of this financial advice, even though I might get things wrong, I like to think I'm right. More often than not. Obviously, to be a good trader, you need have a win rate above 50%. Otherwise, obviously it depends on how much you're putting in on your sizes. But not everyone's perfect. Not everyone can, no one can pretty much get anything 100% right. No one. If they did, obviously they'd probably be investigated by some sort of law enforcement. So even if I did know everything 100%, I'd have to lie and say I didn't know fully, because otherwise I'd be investigated. I'm not saying that I do know and I'm an insider trader, but no one could be right 100% of the time. No one has a crystal ball. I don't have a crystal ball. I get things wrong all the time. It is okay to get things wrong. That's life. You learn from it. You might improve. You might have got something wrong because it's something you could have controlled and you didn't realize. That's a learning experience. I'd rather have learning experiences than just get things wrong, because I don't know what I'm doing. But anyway, I'm gonna move on from Cosmos now. We have been live for an hour and 3 minutes. Obviously 10 minutes intro. So I think I might start to end it quite soon. I will go back to the Bitcoins just to give it one last kind of glance over what you've already covered and where I think it's going to lead us. So if we go back to it, obviously we're still wicking here and there. Obviously we're As long as we don't print on the 8 hour. I mean, if we did print on the 8 hour above here, obviously we'd have consecutive candles moving upwards, I'd expect anyway. Or better yet, coming back down on the daily towards 68.6 and then coming upwards again towards high points. My one worry, I'm not worried about where we are right now, that we're above it. If this chart pattern was on the 1 hour and we printed above, and I watched it come right back into the range and print it again, I'd just call it off. I'd call it off completely. But we're on the daily, so we've still got 8 hours to print how we're going to do. We're probably just testing the waters before we jump in. You need to test you need to test the pool. You don't know if it's too hot, too cold. Before you completely submerge yourself. So I think that's kind of what we're doing right now. We're testing to see how viable it is and coming upwards. My one expectation of what's going on though is at some point we're going to be coming upwards throughout the days, coming upwards towards 70,741, maybe printing about 70,800. And this is what I think needs to happen: 70,800, 70,230, and then if we do that, we're safe. I think we're really safe, and then we are living in the 70,000 realm, and we're safe. If we don't do that, we come towards 70,000 or 71,360, even higher, maybe calling in a higher high towards 72,5, wherever, and I think we'll just come back down. But we have a positive trend. We're coming. Actually, let me draw this from this point. Boom, bouncing. Coming down, bouncing again, coming up. We still have we do have a bullish, higher low thing going on for Bitcoin. So I hope for some positivity soon. I do really think we're in the midst of coming upwards now. But we have printed multiple times on the 4 hour, above this. So I guess we'll see what's going on. If we didn't, the 2 times we've kind of been above this trend line, we've printed above it, come right back down. But this time looks like it might be different. We're printing above it properly now. So I think, like I said, I think from last stream, I thought that Monday was going to be the day we start to break out of it and come upwards. And lo and behold, I think we might. I have a feeling we might. If not, I think Tuesday. But I guess we'll see. I mean, again, with what's going on with other coins, other coins don't really predict the entire market, but other coins make up the entire market. So seeing that beer, I think it might pump within Tuesday. I think Marga as well. I think or Trump coin. Sorry, I think that's also going to be printing with it or pumping within Tuesday. So I don't expect us to be pumping within Monday exactly. Maybe midst of Tuesday. But I could be surprised. If I am surprised on Bitcoin, then some TA I might have drawn today might have been validated, and we come up regardless. But again, we'll see. We will see. I'm more excited to look at tomorrow because some days, unless you're scalping or you're trading, intraday, 1 hour, whatever, you'd be looking at the daily for your bias, and then you'd be looking for trades within the 1 hour. We're not doing that on the stream. We're looking at the daily. So if we're looking at the daily, unless we look at the bias on the weekly, I can't really look at anything else because we're on the daily. So I think that is it for me on the stream. An hour and 6 minutes in, a nice stream. I think we've gone a good pace. Hopefully, it has been a good pace for all you guys. So thank you all of you for watching. Actually, just noticed we kind of have an inter, we kind of have an inter order block here. So I think again, I think this Monday print is going to be what's going to turn us around. Well, also what seems to be interesting is our midpoint of this order block, which we're currently above right now, is actually kind of where our trend line is. So I think this Monday print is what's going to decide what's going to happen within the coming week or within the rest of the week. Tuesday to Friday. So I'm really excited to see what's going to happen within 8 hours. I might do an update on the Telegram, waking up tomorrow. So I'm really excited to see what's going on. Hopefully everyone else is excited as well. Good TA as always. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you for saying that. I try to do good TA. If I didn't think I could do decent TA, then I wouldn't be doing this. But hopefully, if you take something away from this, hopefully I'm your confidence. Hopefully there's some sort of confidence in what I'm saying. I don't expect you guys to be trading based solely on what I'm saying. I think that's called full porting in the realm of trading. But I don't suggest you do that. I do suggest that you maybe use what I'm saying as some sort of confidence. Maybe like, okay, this is what he said. Let me have a look myself and see what's going on. But regardless, I'm excited to see what's going on. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll so it's Monday today. I'll probably do some either Wednesday, Thursday, depending on how we pump. If we pump within Tuesday, late Tuesday, early Wednesday, I'll do a stream Wednesday. If it is Wednesday we pump and we haven't pumped just yet, I'll probably stream Thursday. And obviously we'll be back on Saturday as well with Mike. Mike streams every day, so catch him then. Thank you all. Check the search Crypto Warehouse on YouTube. You'll find links there. Check the video out, which has either come out or is coming out. And I'll see you Wednesday, Thursday. So thank you. Good luck. I think we have, I think people are gonna make some money soon. So thank you, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Come on, BTC.